Once upon a time, Donald Trump joked on Twitter about Vladimir Putin becoming his new best friend at a beauty pageant in Moscow. The year was 2013, but that Twitter post sparked more than just online buzz. It marked the start of a political relationship, a bromance, if you will, that could come to define a decade of international intrigue between these two men. But that romance, that dynamic between Trump and Putin is changing. In recent weeks, Trump has expressed frustration with the Russian leader. He's upset over Putin's refusal to agree to a ceasefire in Ukraine and horrified by the latest images of violence and destruction, including in big cities like Kiev. For someone who has long admired Putin's leadership and authoritarian style, Trump's change in tone is significant. He's even considering sanctions to pressure Moscow to come to the negotiating table.
I'm not happy with what Putin's doing. He's killing a lot of people, and I don't know what the hell happened to Putin.
I'll let you know in about 2 weeks. Within 2 weeks, we're going to find out very soon. We're going to find out whether or not he's tapping us along or not.
Behind closed doors, Trump has admitted that he feels being played by Putin. He believes that Putin is stringing him along without any real intent to end the war. Publicly, he has voiced very rare criticism of Putin's behavior. And yet, true to form, Trump has also given himself a 2-week deadline before deciding what to do next. This 2-week pause leaves open the possibility that this once close relationship between Trump and Putin, this bromance, might still survive, at least for now. Trump never imagined that things would go this way. From the beginning of his political career, he was impressed by Putin's authoritarian strength and his very tight grip on Russia. During his first term, Trump worked to build a close rapport with Putin. Their meetings often broke protocol. They took place without aides or witnesses. In fact, at one point, in one meeting in Helsinki, Trump even sided with Putin over American intelligence agencies during a now infamous press conference. This was on the sidelines of a NATO summit in Helsinki in 2018. Even after leaving office in 2020, Trump continued to praise Putin. He called him a genius. He claimed he could end the Russia-Ukraine war in a single day.
At the Oval Office, I will have the horrible war between Russia and Ukraine totally settled. I'll have it done in 24 hours. I say that, and I would do that. That's easy compared to some of the things. I'd get that done in 24 hours. I know them both.
But once he's back in the White House now for the second term, Trump was hoping to host a dramatic peace conference or a peace summit along with Putin that would make international headlines, that would perhaps even earn him a Nobel Peace Prize. But those ambitions, those dreams, collided with reality. Since returning to the White House, Trump is focused on rebuilding business ties with Moscow. At the same time, he has blamed Ukraine for prolonging this conflict. He's completely, oftentimes, ignored the fact that Russia was the one that initiated this war by invading its neighbor.
You're gambling with the lives of millions of people. You're gambling with World War III. You're gambling with World War III. And what you're doing is very disrespectful to the country, this country, that's backed you far more than a lot of people said they should have.
In fact, in a tense Oval Office meeting back in February, Trump lashed out at the Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky and even temporarily halted both military aid and intelligence support to Ukraine. That pause allowed Russia to make gains on the battlefield. Trump has long viewed Zelensky with disdain. He sees him as ungrateful for American assistance. He's also not forgotten Zelensky's role in the entire impeachment saga of 2019. That incident involved Trump withholding military support to Ukraine to try and pressure Zelensky to investigating Joe Biden's family, specifically his son Hunter Biden. That's a move that first fueled the first impeachment proceedings against Trump. Back in March, Zelensky agreed to a US proposed 30-day ceasefire. Trump thought that this would be a breakthrough. He expected that Russia would immediately come to the negotiating table, but Putin did not. Months later, Russia has still not agreed to a pause in the fighting. In fact, the violence has only further intensified. Missile and drone attacks have battered Ukrainian cities, killing dozens of people. It has raised global concerns. Putin's latest show of defiance came even after he snubbed a potential meeting with Trump and Zelensky in Istanbul. Instead, he spoke to Trump on a phone call that lasted over 2 hours. But that conversation really did not go anywhere. There were no agreements, there's no ceasefire, there was just more bluster from Putin. Trump's frustration boiled over on a social media platform, the Truth Social, where he said, and I quote, "I've always had a good relationship with Vladimir Putin of Russia, but something has happened to him. He's gone absolutely crazy." In response, Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov brushed off Trump's comments as emotional outbursts. Trump had hoped that Putin was serious about peace. But when Ukraine unexpectedly agreed to the ceasefire, it revealed Russia's true intentions. American officials now believe that Putin is using delaying tactics. He's buying time while at the same time intensifying the military operation on the ground. For Trump, it is a humiliating reversal. He thought he could negotiate. He now realizes he may have misjudged Putin entirely. Despite Trump's claim that something has changed in Putin, American intelligence reports have always suggested otherwise. The Russian leader, who's trained by the KGB, who's known for his smooth manipulation, he has never shown a real willingness to end this war. American agencies have concluded that Putin sees no benefit in negotiating. Any compromise would mean giving up territory or allowing the West to continue arming Ukraine. These are options that Putin refuses to accept. What is worse is that Putin believes he's winning. He's winning the battlefield, he's winning militarily. His strategy appears to be working on the ground. NATO is showing cracks. The tensions are rising between Kiev and Washington. And from Putin's perspective, there is no reason to back down, certainly not now. If Trump ultimately decides to disengage and walk away from this peace process, that could also be a major win for Moscow. Because without American pressure, Russia is likely to double down on its military campaign. Trump's threats of sanctions may not be enough to shift Putin's security calculus. The situation has left Trump in a bind. If he walks away now, he risks letting Putin tighten his grip over Ukraine. If he chooses to confront Putin head-on, it would mark a dramatic shift from his past approach. Either way, the world is watching. Trump's next move could reshape the course of this war. It could redefine his own legacy. The bromance that once shaped global headlines is now strained by betrayal and political miscalculation. Whether Trump responds with action or retreats into silence will determine not just the fate of the US-Russia relationship, but the very future of Ukraine as a country.